Get started. Well, first of all, thanks everyone for dragging themselves out of bed, losing that hour of sleep. But hey, it's my favorite time of the year. You start getting that extra daylight and everything's blooming and wonderful. So thank yourself for getting out of bed and getting on the mat. I'm Tom. Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning vinyasa class. As always, please make sure you visit urbanyoga.org where you're going to get all the latest updates on the scheduling. Also check social media, right? Because we had a change last Friday due to some weather. So just kind of double check if things are looking suspect with the weather. But I think we're going to be looking really, really good from here on out. So make sure you visit the website for all those class schedule options. And then, as always, make sure you visit that virtual tip jar to keep us going strong. So beautiful morning out here in the desert. We're going to just work through some heart openers today, get into that heart chakra a little bit, just kind of ease into it. We were kind of pushing things last week with some core work. We'll take it down a little bit this morning and kind of ease into the season change. So we're going to start on our backs. I'm going to give you a couple options here. If you have blocks, you can kind of set those up as follows. If not, you can take a blanket and fold it in half long ways. I'm just going to do this really quick. You can do this. And then just give it a nice roll up. And you can use that, but we're just gonna get down, open up the front of the body here a little bit. So if you're using the blanket, you place that down, put your back right against that. If you're using the blocks, place the block long ways right along the sacrum. And then the other one, adjust for your head. So take a moment here to kind of get situated. So you want it right up under the sacrum. You can come down to the elbows, kind of position that where you need to. Lay yourself back, open up, and then that other block, you can have it on the highest setting. You can have it on a lower setting, and just get adjusted here to what is comfortable. Legs can be long. If you want a little bit of a hip opener, you can bring those ankles together in Supta Badakanasana. And find a spot that just feels like you can open up through the front of the body. I'll let everybody sort of get settled here for a moment. I'll come back up so everyone can hear me. And as always, let's just begin our practice with a nice, deep, full inhalation. Draw that cool air in through the nostrils. Breathe into that heart space. Feel the heart begin to open, soften. And if that's too much with the blocks, if it's just bugging you or whatever, just put them out of the way and you can come down to the back and still just have that natural arch in your back. And just beginning to make that transition from being that busy mind doer to slowing things down to becoming the conscious observer in our practice this morning. Just notice how the body feels, doing a full body scan. Check in with any areas of tightness or tension, just acknowledging, breathing into those spots if you can. Just taking some time here to become fully present, letting everything that's off the mat stay off the mat. As you just take some time for yourself. Just finding some time to surrender, to cultivate some compassion for the self, contentment. Just begin to cultivate that connection with the breath. Let that breath be your guide throughout your practice this morning. If at any point feeling thoughts come up, just return to that breath. I'd like to remind you that you are ultimately the guru in your own practice. So modify as needed. Use those props this morning. Back off, listen to your body. Take a few more deep breaths in. Just seeing what you can open up to. Seeing what you can let go of this morning. And then just staying here still on your back, just go ahead and take your fingertips and just place them right sort of below the throat, right across where the clavicles are. And start to work and just gently massage sort of into that corner, right where that crease is, where that clavicle is. Just start to open up and work your way across the front of the chest. Those muscles really, when we're especially on the computer, texting, watching TV, all those muscles are sort of drawing the front of the body forward, giving us sort of that digital hunch in the back. Just begin to loosen up here. Do both sides. Breathe into those spaces. Just begin to soften through the front of the chest. Take some deep breaths here. Deep exhalations. All right. And let's just let that all go. If you're on the blocks, go ahead and move those off to the side. We'll have those handy when we need them. We're just going to work through sort of a reverse twist here. We've done this a couple times before. So what we want to do is be on the side of the body, extend one arm out directly from the shoulder. And then you want the knees and the tops of the thighs, or the tops of the thighs sort of facing the front of your mat, and then bend the knees at a sort of a 90-degree angle. We're going to go ahead and bring the other arm over the top, so kind of closing it like a book. And then we're just going to slowly draw that top hand across the arm, across the chest. Let the shoulders fall open and breathe into that space through the chest. So kind of a reverse way of getting in a twist. I like this because you get some nice firm grounding through those shoulders. If you want a little bit more, your gaze goes the opposite way you're twisting. And then if you want a little bit more, you can straighten out through that top leg, push through that heel at kind of a 45-degree angle on the mat. Take a couple deep breaths into the back side of the body. Let the heart rise and fall. And then take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, go ahead and close the book. So you're going to just take that top hand all the way back across. Roll back onto the back. Let's just take a moment here to get ourselves situated. Squeeze the knees in towards the ribs. Drop down through that tailbone. And just kind of wiggle back and forth on the sacrum here. Getting a little low back massage. Circles with the knees, one direction, then the other. And then go ahead and roll over to the opposite side. I'm going to sit up here so you guys can hear me. Extend that arm, that bottom arm out directly from the shoulder. Those knees are bent. Then take your time as you twist open here. So begin to draw the arm across, peel it back. A big inhale as you open up through the chest. It's firm grounding through those shoulders. Adding that top leg if you want to extend it out. And then your gaze going the opposite direction that you're twisting the knees. Breathe into that heart space, let it soften. Exhale, just feeling a little bit more sinking into the mat, feeling the earth hold you up and support you underneath. And just feeling those inhalations growing to a count of 4, 5, maybe retaining the breath at the top. Lengthening out that exhalation to a count of 4 or 5. Take your time, close the book, take that top hand all the way across the body. Roll back onto that back. Let's just take a little happy baby here. Open those knees up nice and wide. Press those heels up towards the sky. And then options here, reaching for the outer edges of the feet. You want to grab for the big toes with the peace fingers. And then draw the sacrum down. Draw those knees towards the armpits as you open up through the hips. Pay attention to the heart space. It's going to be a common theme for us this morning. So as you draw down through the tail, lift up slightly through the heart. Should be just a natural curve there in the spine. And then just rock side to side. Big, full breaths here. Let's take one more collective breath. We'll let that go. Let's squeeze the knees back into the chest one more time. We'll rock side to side. We're going to make our way up to tabletop any way that feels good. If you want to just roll off to one side, if you want to roll up along the spine, just getting warmed up. Let's come up into our tabletop position. All right, get yourself organized, get yourself situated, got those hips lined up over those knees, and those shoulders lined up right over those fingertips. Let's go ahead and just do some wrist stretches here. So we'll just take our time, invert one hand at a time, fingertips back towards you. And the more you press down on that heel of the hand and lean back, you're gonna get a deeper stretch in the top of that forearm. You can tuck those toes and get a little feet stretch at the same time. Take your time, do both sides. And then go ahead and flip the palm over so fingers are pointed towards you, top of the hand pressing down. And again, the more you want that stretch, you can kind of lean back and feel that stretch a little deeper. All right, let's come back up to center. If you got the toes tucked, go ahead and untuck them. Let's tap those anchors, get them woken up. Work through our cat-cow here, drop that belly down. Really open up through the front of the clavicles here. Big sip of air in. Press into the top of the feet. Exhale. Draw the gaze down and in. Draw the belly button towards the back of the spine and reduce the amount of space in between the shoulder blades. Work with your breath, dropping belly down. Lift up. And move at your pace this morning here, as slow or as quick as you want to go. Getting some nice spinal flexion. Pause when you come up and really open up through that heart space. Maybe add on a little twist, look over the shoulder, sway those hips side to side. All right, let's draw it back to center. Let's go ahead and extend that left leg out, coming directly out from the hip. Get a deep inhale here. So we exhale, push that forward away and curl that knee in towards the nose. Move with the breath, open up, extend, lift up the gaze. Big inhale. Exhale, push the floor away, draw the knee in. Create some space here by pushing the floor away and reducing the amount of space between those shoulders. And then go ahead, if you want a little bit more, you can bend that knee. You can look back here, and then go ahead and reach back with the right hand, kick that foot into the hand, and open up through the front of the chest. Gaze can look back over that shoulder. Keep the belly active. Gently release. Place that down. Second side, shoot that Heel straight out from the hip. Pull that belly up and in. Big inhale here. Exhale, push the floor away, create that space, draw that knee in towards the elbow or the nose. Inhale, lift up. Keep that foot flexed and active. Exhale, curl in. Move with the breath. And we'll extend that back out. Go ahead and bend at the knee here. Press into that right hand. Go ahead and reach back. Kick that foot in to the hand. Open up through the heart. A little shaking, a little wobbling is always good. It's a good time to smile. Gently place that down. All right, let's come into a puppy pose here. So we're going to keep the hips where they are, so try not to let them come forward. So we want nice straight thighs. We're going to walk forward through the hands and then just begin to sink down here through the chest. So we want to get a nice stretch all through the pectorals here. We walk those fingertips out as much as possible, sink down through the heart space. Sink down through the elbows, lengthening, stretching the front of the body. Morning. All right, begin to walk yourself back up. We're gonna come into Hero's Pose here. So grab your block. I'm gonna bring you on right now, sir. Hey, good morning.
Thank you.
All right. Coming here to Hero's Pose. Go ahead and place that block right at the base of the spine. Draw those knees together here. Roll the shoulders back. Place the hands and lengthen through the tops of the thighs. Press down through the tops of the feet here. And just open up here through the chest. Take your gaze up to the sky. Just a little bit, open up through the throat. Deep breath in. Lift up through the crown. As you exhale, sink down through the tail. Kind of turn towards you guys a little better. Let's inhale those arms up overhead. Lift up, gentle back bend, open up through the throat. Then draw those elbows down, squeeze the scapula, the shoulder blades together here. Gentle back bend. Open up through that throat. Take the arms out to a T, open up. Big sip of air. As we exhale, we're going to cross one arm over the other. Draw the chin in towards the chest. And just squeeze, pulling those elbows down, opening up through the back. Big inhale, open up nice and wide, lift up, look up. Exhale, cross over opposite elbow. Tuck that chin in towards the chest. Spread the scapula apart. Breathe into the back side of the body. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, just a gentle twist. So take one arm across the thigh, roll that back shoulder back behind you. You can bring it towards the sacrum here to give yourself a little bit more leverage. Just look over that shoulder. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist the other direction. As you inhale, lift up through that crown. Nice long spine. Exhale, twisting a little deeper. And we'll go ahead and release. Come up off your block. Let's take a quick child's pose here. So bring the toes to touch. Those knees go nice and wide. Take a moment here to walk your fingertips out. Really create some space in the front side of the body before you start to sink down. Sink those hips back towards the heels. Soften through the heart. Walk the fingertips out a little bit more. And then begin to walk the fingertips back towards you. We'll go ahead and make our way into downward facing dog. Let's bring those knees back in. Tuck those toes. And begin to lift your tailbone up towards the sky. Take a moment here, pedal through each leg, stretch through the calves. Spread those toes nice and wide so you can place your big toe down and then fan all the rest of them out. Nice firm foundation. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Lift up through your tail. Big inhale, exhale, sink and drop the heels. You can walk the feet in a little bit more. Get those heels closer to the ground. And then check in with the elbows. Make sure they're not splaying out to the side. Kind of rotate those elbows inward towards the ears. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then just take your time, begin to walk your feet up towards those hands. Press down through those heels as you go, getting that calf stretch. And when you get where you're going, go ahead. Just grab for the opposite elbows, let the head be heavy. You can bend or straighten the legs as much as you need to. Getting a nice release in the low back. Just sway side to side. Just let everything hang and gravity do its work here. Go ahead and release the hands. Inhale, we'll flatten the back out, so press into the tops of the shins or the thighs. Shoot your crown out and up over your mat as you press the thighs back. Take a big sip of air in. Exhale, fold in. You can bend those knees a little bit. Give those hamstrings a little bit break. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, flatten out. Reach forward with the crown, push back through the thighs. Big inhale. Exhale, fold in one more time. Take a look at those toes. Make sure they're spread out nice and wide, as I mentioned. So place those big toes down, fan the rest of them out. Then as you inhale, draw that energy up through the ground, slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, up through the legs. You get about halfway, take those arms out, up, over. Take a moment here, push the hips forward, gentle back bend. And then draw those thumbs down towards the sternum here. Close the eyes. Just feel that energy cascade down through the body. Inhale those arms back up. Cactus the arms, open up through that heart space again. Lift up, open the throat. Arms back out to a T. Big inhale here. Exhale, we're gonna cross those elbows back over like we did when we were seated. Draw the chin down towards the chest. Inhale, open back up. Look up, lift up. Cross the opposite elbow over. Draw that chin down towards the chest. All right, go ahead and release that out. Okay, so we're gonna take this right arm for you, right? Right arm out to the side. We're gonna draw up, bend that elbow down. Then take that left hand and just give it a little gentle nudge towards the center here and press the back of your head into that arm. Just feel a nice opening here on that right shoulder. Then take the left arm out to the side. Take the thumb downwards and then go ahead and bend and grab a hold of what you can get a hold of. This might be your shirt that you can get, palms together and do a little bind here, cool. You can also use a strap here or a towel. And then when you get where you're going, go ahead and pull the arms in the opposite direction. You're opening up through the middle of that back. And press the back of the head into that arm. Breathe into that space in the heart. If you want a little bit more, big inhale here. Exhale, hinge forward and drop down. Bring yourself back up nice and slowly. Use your core strength there. We'll go ahead and unwind, shake all that out. All right, so let's take that to the opposite side. Take that left arm out, bend that elbow, use that right arm to help nudge it over, kind of working that fingertips towards the center of the back. Press the back of the head into that arm. Opposite arm comes out, thumb comes down, bend that elbow, and grab a hold of what you can get. I do highly recommend doing this with a strap because you can really pull opposite ends, a belt, a towel, whatever you got. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Gently unwind yourself. Shake that all out. All right. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Let's keep that left foot forward. We're going to step the right leg back. Drop yourself into a low lunge. You can have your blocks here alongside. Give you a little bit more support, bringing that earth up towards you. And then just get yourself situated. Make sure those toes are nice and firm at the front. Your big toe is your anchor there, as well as the back of that top foot. Open up through the heart here. So roll the chest open. Deep breath in. If you want to bring the arms up a little bit more, draw down through that tail, lift up through the crown. Inhale, arms up. Draw elbows down, cactus the arms, open up. Inhale, back up. We're gonna exhale, we're gonna twist up and across, staying up nice and tall here. So we're gonna take that top hand, that right hand, take it across that thigh, draw that thigh in, open through the chest. If you want a little bit more, you can slide that left arm back down the thigh and take a little bit of a back bend here. Check in with that front knee that it's not tracking open. Squeeze that back in towards the center. Stay for one more breath. Gently unwind. Inhale here. Exhale, take the palms down. And we're going to straighten through that front leg. So you can tuck the back toes, drop the hips back, getting a nice hamstring stretch here. Reach forward with the crown of the head. Big sip of air in. And you can also be up on your blocks here if you need a little, if you're getting down a little too low, you can be up on your blocks. That will help. All right, stay for one more breath. Gently come out of that, slide that heel back in, place the blocks off to the side. Place those palms down, slide that foot back. Let's take it all the way down to our bellies here. Wiggle those hips back and forth, slide the elbows forward underneath those shoulders. Coming up into Sphinx Pose. Open up through the heart here. Try to not sink down into those shoulders, coming up. Big breath in. Look over one shoulder. Back to center, big breath in. Opposite shoulder. Back to center. Deep breath in. On the exhale, slide those palms back underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up to either plank or tabletop and push yourself back to downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, step hopper, float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, slowly draw that energy up through the legs. When you get halfway, shoot those fingertips out to the side. Inhale, lift up, look up. Draw the palms in towards heart center. Let the fingertips fall towards the sides. Close the eyes. Just notice how one side feels a little different than the other. Okay, inhale back up. Exhale, swan dive down. Step that right leg back. Right leg, left leg. Taking it into low lunge on that second side. Get your foundation set up here. Bring those palms up towards the knee if you'd like. Sink down through the tail, up through that crown. Inhale, up. Exhale, squeeze those elbows. Open up through the heart. Inhale, back up. Take that high twist. Draw that palm across the leg. Roll that back shoulder back. You can bring that arm to the sacrum to give you a little bit more leverage on that twist. And then if you want a little bit more, slide that arm down the thigh, gentle back. If you're in that back bend, take a moment, bring yourself back up. Go ahead and untwist. Bring those palms down, straight through that front leg. Options, use your blocks, tuck the back toe, draw the hips back towards the heels. All right, take your time, slide that foot forward, blocks off to the side. Bring the palms alongside that leg, step it all the way back to your plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, back downward dog. Big inhale here. Exhale, step hopper, float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale is going to bring you all the way up. Gentle back bend here. Press those hips forward. Draw the palms down into heart center. All right. Let's come into a little tree pose here. Don't think of tree pose like really as a heart opener, but It really is a nice one to really open up through that front of the chest, get all that energy squeezed into the center line of the body. So go ahead and shift your weight into the right foot here. Spread those toes nice and wide so you have a nice firm foundation. Begin to draw that knee up and in, squeeze everything together, and then open it up to the side. So options here. You can just be down here doing a tree pose. You can be on that calf. You want to bring it up into that thigh. Wherever that leg is, push it into the center line of the body. Keep that belly nice and active here. Roll the shoulders back. Those palms come out to the side. If you want to add on a little bit, you can interlace those fingers behind each other, draw those knuckles down. Drawing down through the tail, up through the crown, lift up through the chest. If you wobble, you fall, all good, just get back into it. Extend those arms out, grow your branches up. You want a little bit more challenge, let the gaze come up and follow. This is where usually I start wobbling and fall. But that's how we practice, right? All right, gently let that go. Let's just shake everything out. Let's take that over to the second side. Spread those toes nice and wide, firm down through that heel. Get that belly active. Draw the knee up. And then open it up towards the side. Place that foot where you want. Press those palms together, lift up through the chest. Fingertips maybe out to the side, maybe you're just here. You want a little bit more, you want that bind, roll the shoulders back, draw the knuckles down, open up. Fingertips back out, grow your branches. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And gently lower up and out. All right, wonderful. Got a little drink here. Everybody feeling good? All righty. All right. Take it back down. Inhale up. Exhale. Fold in. Hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down. Let's go ahead and step that left leg back. We're going to come into warrior one. So you're going to drop the heel down. Your foot's about 45 degrees out. Press into that front leg. Open up through the chest. Bring the arms up and out. Press into that back heel. Press into that front big toe. Sink down a little bit. Big inhale here. Exhale, squeeze those elbows down, open up through the chest. Gentle back bend. You want a little bit more, can roll the shoulders back, clasp the arms behind you. If that's too much, you can just grab for elbows or forearms as well. Little arch in the back. And here we're going to come into humble warrior. So if this is a little too much, you can just sort of stay in this chest opener. Otherwise, big inhale. Exhale, we're going to drop the shoulder to the inside of that front knee. Take the arms back, up, and over. Look back at that back toe. Press down into that big toe. Breathe into the center of the back. And then as you come back up, use your core strength, not lifting up with your head. So use that core strength, lift it back up. Lift the arms back up. Exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two. So we're going to position our feet here with our back foot perpendicular to the mat. We have heel to arch alignment here. And then grow those arms out. I like to sort of roll the shoulders open first. Exhale, sink in. Draw that energy up through the pelvic floor. Squeeze those thighs together a little bit. Exhale, sink in. Let's reverse that warrior. Slide that arm down the back of the leg. Open it up. Making sure that front shoulder isn't rolling down, that it's up and open through the front of the chest. Take it back to your warrior two, sink back in. And we'll take extended side angle options here. You can bring that elbow to that knee. You can also have blocks on the inside of that thigh. Roll that back shoulder back and open so you're not sinking down. Extend that top arm out and up. If it kind of gets hung up on that shoulder, take it in front of the face and then up and over. Big breath in. Make sure you're not sinking into that front shoulder. So you want to create some space here. All right, let's take our time. Bring it back up. Warrior two, one more time. And then we're just going to turn the toes towards the front of the mat. We're going to kind of come sideways here. You can have your blocks in front of you. Let's first inhale the arms up. Push those hips forward slightly. Exhale, hinge, reach forward, drop that crown of the head down. Toes are slightly pointed in, heels are slightly pointed out for a nice firm foundation. You can let the head rest on blocks. You can come down to your forearms. You can walk the palms back underneath. Just letting gravity do its work here. Slowing down. All right. Gently start to bring the crown up. Let's just take a halfway lift here. Inhale, lift up to the crown halfway. Exhale, sink in one more time. Take those hands and grab for the back sides of the calves here to give yourself a nice firm foundation, and use that core strength to lift up, not using the weight of your head. Don't want to hurt the neck here. So lift up. And we're just going to slide into warrior two on that other side here. So same heel to arch alignment. Roll the shoulders open. Sink down. Let's reverse that warrior. Big breath in. Exhale, back warrior two. Extended side angle, slide that elbow down the leg. If you want to use that block. Check in with that top shoulder, roll that open. Take that arm up and in front of the face and extend it. Nice long line of energy from the base of that back foot all the way up through that arm. All right, move with intention, move slowly, come up and out of that. And we're just gonna kind of slide our way, rotate into warrior one on the second side. So there's no graceful way to do this, just kind of drag that back foot in. Position it at a 45-degree angle. Bend that front knee. Drop down through the tail, lift all the way up. Do a big inhale here. Exhale, squeeze those elbows down, open through the chest, gentle back bend. And then options. You want a little bit more. Clasp those hands together, draw the knuckles down. You might just want to stay here. Otherwise, come along for the ride. Drop that shoulder to the inside of that knee. Maybe the head comes down, maybe it rests on a block. Breathe into that space in between the shoulders. Inhale, use that core strength, bring it all the way back up. Exhale, bring the palms in. And make your way all the way back down towards the belly. Just gonna turn around here so you can see a little better. All right, bring it all the way down towards the belly. Just take a moment here. Bring the arms alongside the body. Palms can be face up. And just turn your head to one side. If you want, you can make a little pillow here by bringing the tops of the hands on each other. Just take a moment here, wiggle the hips side to side. Let some of that energy settle in the low back. All right. If the palms are up in front of the face, go ahead and bring them back alongside the body. Bring your head to center, press down through the tops of the feet. We're gonna roll those shoulders back. We're gonna lift up through the chest. So squeeze those thighs together, activate the thighs here. And you should feel the low back engage and fire up. If you want a little bit more, maybe you bring the arms out to airplane arms on the side. Squeeze and activate those thighs. Exhale, go ahead and lower down. And take your gaze to the opposite direction you had before. Again, you can have a little pillow here with the hands. They can be alongside the thighs, whatever feels good. Deep breath in. Sink in on the exhale. Feel your heartbeat against the earth. Feel the backside of the body rise on the inhalation, sinking in deeper on the exhalation. All right, we'll bring the head back to center. We're gonna do that locust pose again. So we're gonna roll those shoulders back. Shoot those back along the thighs, squeeze those thighs, and then same thing. If you want a little bit more, you can lift up, squeeze the legs together, add the legs on. So you're gonna feel that low back fire up. Options with the arms, you can come out to airplane arms. If you want a little more intensity, you can bring the arms forward. That's gonna be pretty intense. If you feel any pinching at all, back off. Legs should be shaking. Smile. All right, go ahead, let it go. Bring those palms back underneath the face. And then go ahead and bend the knees here. Bring the knees out a little bit wide, and then just gently windshield wiper legs side to side, releasing through that low back. All right. So options here, we can do that locust pose that we were just doing to any degree that feels good. Or if you want to go into full bow pose, you're going to bend those legs, reach back for those ankles, get yourself situated, roll those shoulders up, back, and down, squeeze the side together, lift up through the heart space, kick those feet into the hands. Big sip of air lifts you up a little bit more, maybe. If you're feeling any pinching, again, back off. So these back bends can be done on a lot of different degrees. We don't want any injuries. Whatever your body's telling you to do, make sure you listen here. Big sip of air in. Exhale, let that go. And we're gonna push back into a counter pose, child's pose. So we're gonna let the knees go wide, bring those toes back together, and work those hips back towards the heels here. Walk fingertips forward, the heels go back, or the hips go back towards the heels, and then sink down through the heart. Breathe into that low back, flooding it with oxygen, fresh blood flow. Melt down through that heart space. All right, start to walk the fingertips back in. So we're gonna come into Camel Pose here, and definitely options here in terms of degrees of difficultness. First thing is make sure you have a nice padding here for your knees. Luckily, us at the park, we've got the natural padding of the grass. So you want those knees nice and happy. And if that's too much, you can come back into that hero's pose. You can be here and we can work through some back bends here as well. So go ahead and press down through the tops of the feet. Again, those are gonna be our anchors here. We're gonna roll those shoulders back, and we're gonna kind of bring the palms right to that low back, almost like you're putting them in your pockets. So they wanna be right along that low back. And in order to do a back bend, it's not so much about cranking through that back, it's opening through the front of the body here. So we wanna be open through the chest. Take a deep inhale into the front of the chest, open up through the clavicles, and then gently begin to push those hips forward. So again, opening up through the front side of the body to make the back bend a little bit more accessible. This might be it. This might be enough. You're getting the benefit of the pose. If you want a little bit more, coming into more full camel, press those hips forward even more. Begin to lean back into those thighs, or lengthening through the front of the thighs. If you have your block available, you can bring both palms to the block. Open up through the heart, open up through the chest, as opposed to thinking about flexing and bending the back. Let's take a few more sips of air in, fill up through the front side of the body, push those hips forward a little bit more. And then take your time as you come out of this. So instead of just coming up and out, what you want to do is take one hand at a time, bring it back to that low back, nice and supported. Begin to come up through the thighs a little bit, bring the other hand up, support it, and then go ahead and drop down through the hips and just drop your head all the way down. So doing a counter pose to that. Breathe into that low back, flooding it with fresh oxygen. All right, go ahead and bring yourself back up. Slide those legs around towards the front side of the body. Doing some counter poses for those back bends, those openers. We'll come here into some forward fold. So let's bring the heels, dig them into the ground, press them out, lengthen through those thighs, draw those toes back towards you. Just inhale and lift up. We exhale, lengthen through the spine, reach the crown of the head out, and then begin to sink down. Grab for whatever you can get a hold of. It could be the tops of the thighs, it could be the tops of the shins. Breathe into the low back. And let's do that a few more times. So drag the arms up through the thighs, root down through that tail, lift up through that crown. Big inhale, big sip of air. Exhale, reach out, reach with the crown, fold it. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, back up. Lengthen, fold, sink. All right, slowly come up and out of that. Let's go ahead and bring both heels together. Badakanasana. So the more you have those heels dragging towards the pelvis, the more intense that stretch is going to be. So you can be out a little bit more, kind of in turtle pose, or drag those heels in if you want a little bit more. Wiggle back and forth, get in front of those sitting bones so you're not sitting back. Lift up through the chest, the front of the body. Big inhale in. Exhale, begin to walk fingertips out to whatever degree is comfortable. You might just be up here. That might be enough of an opener. Definitely going to be a little bit more intense the further you get, and drop it. Breathe into the pelvis. Breathe into your tail. Take your time, start to walk those fingertips back. Go ahead and reach for the outer edges of those knees. Then we're going to roll those shoulders back, place the heels of the hands down, and just gently rock those hips side to side in a windshield wide bring. As you come over and the knees come down, kind of pulse that hip up, just getting a little bit of a hip stretch there. So coming up, letting the knees fall, press up through that hip. Should feel really nice. Those back bends, stretch on the front of the body. All right, let's come across over to the left, and then just begin to walk those fingertips around the back side of the body, taking a gentle twist here. Keep the heart up and open, not sinking down. Adding the gaze last, look over that shoulder. Take one more breath here. Exhale, gently begin to work your way back across. Knees come up, over to the other side, and we work our way around the other side. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Gaze goes last. And gently, let's go ahead and unwind. All right, let's kind of go back to where we started. Let's take it down to our backs here. Take the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Just let the knees fall together here for a moment. Wiggle back and forth on the sacrum. And then bring the knees back up and just windshield wiper those knees side to side. You want to be firm through those shoulders so arms can be out to a T here. And then when you get onto one side, you can let the legs fall over. And take that outside leg, bring it up, the ankle across the knee to give yourself a little bit more leverage. And a little deeper in the twist. If you want to add on, your gaze can go the opposite direction the legs are twisting. And let's release. If you have that leg on top, go ahead and release it. Back up and just let them fall over to the other side. Again, that heel can be across that knee, giving you a little extra leverage. Gaze goes the opposite direction of the twist. Shoulders are down, firm and strong. Take one more big breath in. Gently release. Bring those heels back underneath the knees. Let's just work through a quick bridge series here before we take it into our final pose, Shavasana. So bring those heels back towards the pelvis as much as possible, or the glutes. Firm through the shoulders here, bring the arms alongside the body, press down through the forearms, press down through the heels, begin to lift up through those hips. Squeeze the thighs together. Draw the belly button towards the back of the spine. Options here with the arms can just stay down. If you want to roll one shoulder underneath and then the other, coming into a little bit of a bind, giving you a little bit more space in the heart. Stretching through that front side of the body. One final opener here. Squeeze the thighs together. Exhale, gently lower down. Let the shoulders come out if they're in. And then that counter pose, bring the knees in towards the chest. Draw down through that tailbone. Give yourself a good final squeeze here. Rock side to side. Extend those legs nice and long out in front of you. Just let those ankles open up like a book. Feel that opening through the ankles, travel up through the hips and through the pelvis. Nothing here to enjoy the benefits of our practice. Just do a final body scan, noticing how the body might feel different from when we started, a little bit more open in the heart. Just let the heartbeat settle into the chest. Let the bones be heavy. Let the belly be soft. Just take these few final moments here just to remain fully present in the moment. Allow me to call you back when it's time. Gently begin to deepen the breath and welcome sensation back into the body by wiggling fingers and toes, raising eyebrows, loosen the jaw, moisten the lips, swallow, soften the throat. If you're on your back, you can slide those ankles towards one another. Take the arms up overhead, take that full body stretch, flex and point those toes. Gather the knees up and towards the heart space. Give yourself one final squeeze. And take your time, roll over to one side. Make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Keep the eyes closed or the gaze soft here. Just feel the body come into alignment as the heart lines up over the hips and the head over the heart. Feel that grounding through the tail, that lifting through the crown. Feel the breath flowing freely between these two opposing forces, the union, the yoga. Just take a moment here, acknowledging this space of self-care, of surrender, of non-judgment. Just giving the body exactly what it needs, giving the mind a rest. Let's inhale those arms slowly up overhead. Gather all that wonderful energy up we created. Press those palms together. Gather that into the heart space. I'd like to thank everyone for taking some time for that self-care today. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. It's wonderful to see everyone as usual.